Hey everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel Summarized AI. In continuation to our series, today we will explore modules in Python. A module is simply a Python file, or we can say .py file, that contains code like functions, variables, and classes that you can reuse in other program or code files. So instead of writing the same code over and over again, you write it once in a module and then import that module wherever you need it. Think of it like writing a recipe once and then reusing it whenever you want to cook that dish again. So let's go back to our Visual Studio and try to understand the same. Here I will be creating a file named math underscore helpers dot py. Okay. Let's say you often need to calculate areas and parameters. Okay. Instead of rewriting the formulas in every file, you can store them in one file called math.helpers.py to calculate the area of circle, parameters, or area of rectangle. And we can reuse these functions in other files in place of writing over and over again. Now, let's create a function def area of circle, which will take parameter radius. Let's return the area of circle, which is nothing but pi r square, and pi is 3.14 into radius pi r square. Okay. Now, similar to that, we can define parameter of circle. Here also we can say radius and return 2 pi r, which is nothing but 2 into 3.14 into radius. Okay, great. Now we can define one more function, def area of rectangle. Let me correct the spelling here and return. So area of rectangle will take length and breadth as a parameter, length and width. Now return length into width. So let me summarize what we did in this particular file. So we have created one file, math underscore helpers.py. Inside this file, we have created three different functions, which will allow us to calculate area of circle, parameter of a circle, and area of rectangle. Now we can reuse these functions in other files. Let's go ahead and create one more file, name as practice.py. Okay. And in this practice.py, let's import the file what we have created earlier as math underscore helpers. And while importing that file, we will write the file name, but not .py. Okay. Once the import is done, we can go ahead and use its method to calculate the area of circle. And this I will be printing. Okay. And similar to that, we can also use parameter of circle method to get the parameter of circle. So here I'm providing 3 as a radius. Now again, I'm saying print math underscore helpers dot area of rectangle, and here we have to pass length and width. So I'm passing 4 comma 5, and let's execute this particular program, and we can say we are able to get the area of circle as 12.56, parameter of circle as 18.84, and the area of rectangle is 20. Great. So up till here, all clear. Now you can see here we have written math underscore dot helpers. So math underscore helpers is nothing, is a module. It will get called as a module here. And from this particular module, we can use function. Okay. So math underscore helper is the module name here. And you can use anything from this particular module. So if we have defined class, functions, variable, all we can use in the practice.py because we have imported this particular module here. Great. Now, in short, Python module can contain functions, variables, classes, and imports. Great. So we require modules to make our life easier. And to support that, we have some points. The very first point is it provides reusability to write once and use everywhere. So you can write one module which is having all the functions, the reusable function, and you can use these function in other files. Just import that particular module and consume the function. Great. Second is code organization. It will keep your code clean and structured because here we are maintaining all the maths method. Similarly, we can create some chemistry.py where we can maintain all the formulas of chemistry. Okay. Then similar to that, we have other files also we can create reusable utils, constants, all those different modules we can create. Great. Now it also allows us to maintainability. So the code, whatever we are writing inside the module, it is easily maintainable. Suppose if we get any defect in any of the method, if we correct that particular method, it will get fixed on all the places by default. You need not to go in each and every file and fix that method because you have duplicated that code. So that is also not there. Now collaboration is also easy. So it is easier for teams to work together. Each team member can handle their own module. So we can assign the modules and each team member can take care of their respective modules. Great. So the folder inside, we keep multiple files in Python. So for example, in this particular summarized AI folder, we have created these two files we placed. Now here, this folder will also get called as package in Python's terminology. Okay. And if we have multiple folders, those will get called as packages. Great. So this is what we have everything around modules and packages. Now, when we talk about modules, it is important also to talk about one of the main concepts as underscore underscore main underscore underscore and underscore underscore name underscore underscore. These are special built-in variables that helps us determining how a script being executed, which means, for example, I have this method, okay, I'm removing two other methods, okay, and I'm printing here, print inside math helper, okay, helpers. Now, if I go back here and if I remove all this, I'm just keeping an import, okay. If I'm running this code from math underscore helpers file, you see the output inside math helpers got printed here. Great. Now, similarly, if I go to practice.py file and we have already imported this math underscore helpers, and if I try to execute this file, so internally it will also execute math underscore helpers. So as soon as it will import that file, it will print this particular statement. Okay. But we don't want to code get get execute, okay, until we give the command. Okay. So to stop this particular line's execution, we can have if condition having underscore underscore name underscore underscore equal to double quotes underscore underscore main underscore underscore. Okay, and we can write this condition inside this if. Now, what will happen here if I execute this particular file again? Okay, if I go ahead and execute, we see inside math helpers got printed. Now, if I go to the practice.py and do the same operation, I don't see the print statement here. Okay, so to check like if it really got executed, I'm going to add the else condition and I'm just printing inside else. Okay, So now if I go back, let me print from here. So it is printing inside math helpers. Now if I go back to the practice.py, it is printing inside else, which means this particular file is getting loaded from practice.py. But the problem here is this particular method or block of code did not get executed. Why? Because when we are running this code within the same file, then the value of underscore underscore name is underscore underscore main underscore underscore. Let's print the value. Okay, here. Let's see what it comes. Let me clear the console. When I execute this particular code, I see the value of underscore underscore name underscore underscore is underscore underscore main. Okay. And here this condition gets true, and that's where it printed inside math helper. Great. Now let me clear the console. And if I will go back to the practice.py, and here if I execute this, okay, if I execute this and let me print here um, name, for example, okay, and I would say underscore underscore name underscore underscore, okay. If I say this, you will see here it went into the method underscore helpers, okay. It printed inside else, okay. So first of all, it is the value is not underscore underscore main because we ran this particular code from practice.py, which is our main file, execution file, and we have imported this math underscore helpers here. Okay, so that's where it is not now underscore underscore main underscore underscore. Okay, so that's where it is not going inside if. It is coming inside else because the value is math underscore helpers. Okay, but if you see for practice.py, it is main because this particular file is running this code. Okay, so let's do one more thing. Let's create one more file and say test.py. Okay, inside that test.py, if we import practice, okay, and if I say here practice and not practice, I would say test. Okay, test, and I say underscore underscore name underscore underscore. Okay, now let me run this. So if you see here, this is printing inside else. First of all, this is printing math underscore helpers. We know already because this is not the main file which from where we ran the code. Now, similar to here also, if you see in the name here, it prints practice. Okay, which means this is also not the main class. So we executed this particular file and it has a reference of practice and practice has a reference of math. Okay, that's where those are printing their respective file names. Okay, but here the main is test.py. So that's where it is not printing the statement what we are having inside if, it is printing what we have inside else. Great. So that's all we have for today. Thank you for watching this video. If you found this video helpful, please don't forget to like this video and subscribe the channel. I will be coming up with more videos of Python, AI, and programming tips. So make sure to hit the notification bell to stay updated. See you in the next video. Till then, bye-bye.